Welcome everyone to AJ's World of Bodybuilding. This week in bodybuilding, we don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about it anyway. Dawid Chechowicz, Polish bodybuilding journalist of the year 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and also to 2023. Correct?
Yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to see you guys.
Your channel is called for YouTube.
Yeah, it's the same as Dawid Chechowicz, so people are not going to be able to pronounce it. So whatever.
They will see your name in the description of the video, so you can see it.
Thank you.
Gregory Ulysse, the voice of Canadian bodybuilding. Is that correct now?
Wow, that's a good one. I hope I am. That's all right.
Yeah. Ifbb Pro, very active on social media also with Dawid. You're the MC of what event this weekend? Or
next weekend, the FitLog Classic. And Nick will be there. So I'm going to see Nick up and close.
So you will get some on your Instagram. You will get some hardcore small pics of Nick Walker, correct?
Maybe not small, but I'll try to get pics.
And also, you're the only black guy with Beastie Boys on the wall instead of Tupac, by the way.
Bro, like I said, Beastie and Run DMC, bro.
Beastie Boys first. I'm not so sure about that one.
No problem.
The Adonis. First of all, that's the best nickname in bodybuilding. The Adonis, Roy Evans. And as you can see, he started working with Chad Nichols. And can you see the delts have decreased in the traps since last time? Can you see it, Gregory?
Yes, I can. I saw that.
Oy, oy. Roy, when is your 2023 return? What show?
Tampa Pro, Texas Pro.
Weren't you competing like last time with Chad Nichols, under Chad Nichols?
No. Last go around, I was with Aceto. So I turned pro back in 2017 in Classic. Spent 2 years in the league. Did pretty good at Classic, especially my pro debut. Got top 5 at Pittsburgh Pro, and then I switched over to the Open. What was that in 2021? Yeah.
Yeah, you were in the red trunks, I remember, and you were peeled.
New York Pro.
Yeah, I did Indy Pro and I did New York Pro. I was the guy that did the splits and all sorts of different stuff. But they said I got to get bigger. So
yeah, how tall are you?
5'11".
Yeah, so my height.
And Texas Pro, how's that one going for Texas and Tampa? How is it going for you, this prep?
Oh, it's great. Just a new game plan. When I was competing before, I was living in the DC area. So now I moved to Houston. And so it's just been just new, just totally new. My body's doing stuff that I've never seen it do before. So this is the biggest and hardest I've ever been coming into a contest prep. And so I love what Chad has going on. Like he's very different type of eating. I'm not a big eater, so that's kind of been for me the hardest part is actually the off season and trying to keep the food down, that kind of thing, because I have a lot of digestive stuff I deal with, but I'm loving it. I mean, my symmetry, my shape, you already know I got that. But getting more size, you'll definitely see more size. I definitely got 10 pounds of extra muscle on me.
With the same conditioning we're going to see.
That's the goal. Actually, we want to bring the conditioning in even more. I want deeper lines this time.
This week, guys, there's some different topics. First of all, breaking news. Hadi Choopan, a man who barely flies, seldomly flies. He's going to the UK Muscle Works Orpington. I'm going to be there. And
what's the date? It's 4 July?
It's the 4th of June.
So I'm going to be there. I can be there as well.
I hope you will. It's a seminar. It's training. It's going to be there 3 days. He's only going to Muscle Works Gym in Orpington, guys. So for people in the UK and Europe, this is the only place to go. And the owner, he's the gym owner, Luke Sandow, used to train there. James Holling said you still trains there at times. And he loves bodybuilding. Yes, Dawid?
There you go, the portrait.
Of Luke Sandow in the background.
Yeah.
This is a proper bodybuilding gym and the owner does it out of passion and it's only 10 pounds for people, he's not going to raise the tickets. So yes, he does it out of his, he loves bodybuilding. So this is awesome. So Hadi Choopan, since we were talking about him, there's a lot of people talking about Derek and Samson and Nick Walker and Andrew Jack, but the champion is Hadi Choopan. And Gregory,
Yes.
do you like his chances to retain, and what does he need to improve on, if any, to retain the title? We'll ask everyone the same question.
Right now, he's the one with the title. He has nothing to change because he's been doing the same thing for the last 4 years. And people recognized him last year. But the Hadi we saw last year was a different Hadi, and he won. So actually, people have to beat him. And we know that this guy will always come in shape. Like I say to people, in that lineup, if there's a certainty, it's him. Because we know what he's going to bring. We know that.
And you feel there's nothing he needs to bring up?
At this point, you know what it is? You know what? If you look at his physique, there's not much he can do more. Because he probably maxed out. But his maxing out is so good that it's hard to beat. We saw last year, Derek was close, but Derek is still missing certain things, but Derek's on his way. But until then, we have to beat him, and it's not an easy task.
Roy, what do you think? Hadi Choopan, what do you like his chances to retain? And if so, does he need to improve on anything?
I agree with Greg. He has to maintain what he got. Now he can't slack off and can't bring something less than what he brought before because he has too many guys on his heels. Structurally, he's only so tall, so he has no place where he can go in terms of pushing size. At this point, it's all about refining the perfection he brought the last time. And the rest of the field, they're still kind of catching up in terms of being 100%. Hadi at 100% is very dangerous. So you got Derek that's a similar height that can give him a run for his money in terms of that look. And then, like Samson, Nick Walker's also, I think he's slightly taller.
Slightly taller, maybe 1 foot. Yeah.
But these are still like relatively short guys. Then you throw Samson into the mix, and he's a very different physique. So Samson's going to do his game plan, and the rest of the lineup, I think, are going to, kind of try to start filling in their gaps on their deficiencies.
David, let's say Derek manages to dial in the abs more and get more on the upper pecs, I believe, need to come up a little bit, and maybe his arms to see some more quality on them. Is Hadi still winning if Derek managed this?
If there were a lot of question marks last year about the top 10, this year we have no chances to predict even the 10th or 15th place. So when it comes to the top 5, we have 3 guys, as you said, Nick, Derek, and Hadi. And actually, we are going to speak probably about Nick a little bit later. But I think that there is going to be a change of guard. You know why? Because of what Samson is doing all over the world. And I'm not being a fanboy of Samson. I have seen him. He's my friend. I have seen him.
You said you're not a fanboy, and you just said he's your friend.
Yeah, but I'm not a fanboy. I'm objective.
Okay.
I know that it is going to be really hard to beat Hadi, especially with what I think he's going to bring to stage, because he's going to be just as full as last year, but as conditioned as 219. And if he brings that conditioning that he's known for, and he was highly criticized for last year that he was a little bit off, it is going to be hard to beat. But I think that the places from 2nd to 5th are all question marks. We still don't know if Ramy is going to do it. We still don't know how Andrew is going to improve. Hunter was 4th. He slipped. and now he's hungrier. So I think that there might be a change of spots when it comes to the 2nd to 5th place.
Yes.
But I don't think that Hadi is beatable.
You don't think he's beatable?
No, I don't think that Hadi right now is beatable, because Ramy lost because he was off. He was just simply off. And we, 4 of us knows that. And Hadi, as Gregory and as Roy said, he's not going to come off. He's not going to be out of shape. He will come diced. And he will be bigger.
A representative as a Mr. Olympia. We've had some great champions in the past. Brandon Curry, Lee Haney, Jay Cutler, Phil Heath, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're all represented very well. Do we want the champion to move? Is it important for you, Gregory, that we have a champion that promotes bodybuilding on YouTube, social media, does seminars, flies around the world? Is that important for you as a fan and as a bodybuilder? For you personally?
For me personally, no, because at the end of the day, you have to win that title on stage. For the brand, it is. But you know it is, Hadi is a different case. Remember, Hadi comes from another country. Hadi also has hearing problems. So it's a different beast. Probably what the Olympia should do at that point, probably help him out to get him out there. That would be something for him to do. Because remember, Hadi, on top of that, Hadi doesn't speak English also, which makes it really, really hard to sell him as ambassador. And I'm sure Hadi is a very nice guy. But since he's not able, he doesn't speak English very much and all that, it's going to be hard. It's a hard sell. But then again, I tell people, at the end of the day, it's the best physique that wins the show. It's not social media. It's not how many people I know. The best physique on stage wins. And we have to be honest, for the last 4 years, Hadi has been close to the best physique, if not the best physique on stage.
Yeah, Gregory, but remember when Ramy was rising and when Dennis Wolf was beginning his career, what did they tell him? Learn English. You are going to be ambassador all over the world. So Hadi has to learn English.
And also, David, let me ask you, David. Roy, you are a brand new pro. Your following is good, but obviously it's not the level of a Hadi Choopan. And you have, you're a former Marine, correct? Is it military?
No,
Navy. And you also have doctor's degrees and everything. And you are able to hire someone to film your training, and whatever it costs, you're paying them, and they're filming you, and you are teaching kids how to train, how to eat, how to sleep. Roy, why can't Hadi Choopan, as a Mr. Olympia champion, hire someone in Iran to film him to do the same?
Well, he could. So I would say everything that Greg mentioned, it's a hindrance, but it's not a deal breaker. The biggest issue with Hadi is that it's the elephant in the room. He comes from Iran. Iran is not a country that's on the best of terms with the EU, with NATO, and a lot of the fan base that we in Western culture have with bodybuilding. So that's really the biggest hindrance in terms of him traveling around. He has to get visas to these different countries. And depending on how each country works, they may or may not be able to get him a visa. That was the biggest issue with him coming to the U.S. as one of the best, pros on the planet. He was still having issues getting a visa to come to the U.S. due to U.S.-Iranian relations. So
the training videos, Roy.
Training videos. He could do more training videos. I mean, he has a whole network and a whole team out in Iran. So, I mean, if he wants to do that, it's really what he wants to put out and what kind of image he wants to put. Each competitor has his own persona. I would encourage Hadi to do it because I think people need to see his lifestyle and more behind the curtain. But
you're right.
Because we've seen he has a great personality the few times at the Olympia where they have this translator, and he's you can see on Instagram the time we see him, he seems very lovable and funny person. Pittsburgh Pro.
Sorry, but one more thing before we skip to that. If it would be anyhow important, don't you think that Hani Rambod would have told him to do it? Hani Rambod, Hani Rambod is a coach of 22 Olympias. He has 22 Olympias wins.
Yeah, but he's never told Phil or Jay what to do with media, ever.
Exactly. Because it might not have such an impact on actual placing.
No.
He was like, do whatever you want, just show up in shape, as Gregory said.
Pittsburgh Pro, and first is a yes or no. Are you more excited with the Pittsburgh guest posting than the New York Pro show, David? Yes or no?
Yep.
Gregory?
100%.
Roy?
Yeah.
It's sad.
That's great,
no,
but it's sad.
It's sad.
So,
but
yeah, Gregory.
Yeah, it's sad. You know what? Because you know why? Because we're expecting big things in Pittsburgh. Because we know what's going to happen. We know, and honestly, the New York Pro doesn't have a chance against that guest post.
No.
To be honest.
Yeah, but we used to have great champion Evan Centopani, Phil Heath, Kai Green, Branch Warren. Where are all the... Roy, why aren't you into New York Pro?
I got to get bigger, man. Yeah. I mean, it's simple. It's everything's about timing. I mean, last time I was on stage, I was between 228 and 232. So yeah, I could jump into New York Pro. And what, am I going to possibly get a top 10? Okay, yeah, I get a top 10, but I want to come up the ranks. So I got to give my body time to get bigger. It's simple as that.
We're going to talk about New York Pro next week. But David, why is guest posting at the Pittsburgh so important for fans and for the storyline towards the Olympia?
As you said, because it creates the storyline, because we are going to get a lot of answers actually. How does Nick looks? Is he going back to the freak factor? Is Ramy coming?
Yes, he is.
I hope he is, because that's what he is. Perhaps Sibam, even though he is probably not going to guest post, but perhaps is he going to jump in? There are so many. Imagine what would have happened if Sibam actually would have jumped in and make such an impact as Derek did last year.
No,
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just, I'm just going to speculate.
Okay.
Imagine that happening. Yeah, because he's going to be the leanest of them all, probably.
Gregory, guest posting. Are we over analyzing it? Because we saw was Sean Roden. He did it as Mr. Olympia or after he won?
He did it before he won. Remember, before.
And you saw, even though it was a big scandal, you saw it on stage at the Olympia. It didn't matter. So are we?
No,
analyzing
that was him. That was him. But you know what? Because let's face it, last year, the Olympia started when basically Ramy did not come in, and Derek just came in, and basically the Olympia storyline started there. When Derek got in, the show got interesting. Yeah. Like very interesting.
And we've seen,
like, you know what? One door closes and another door opens.
We saw the interview with J.M. Mannion, that's Jim Mannion's son at NPC Online, and he went on record and said the only reason Derek got the 212 invite because of how much buzz and how epic he looked at the guest posting. Because remember, he wasn't a proven open guy, and it's a big difference with 212 and the open. Roy, yes or no? Will Big Ramy show up in Pittsburgh this year?
I don't know. I can't even answer that.
What do you predict?
I hope he does. I think it'll be good for him, good for his brand, good for the fans. So I hope he does. But whether or not he's actually going to do it, I don't know. I can't answer that.
David?
He has to. He has no choice. If he doesn't show up, if he doesn't show any signs of improvements, he's going down in ranks. That's simple. If he doesn't show up, people are going to speculate that he's getting worse.
Gregory, will he show up?
You know what? He has to, but then again, does he want to stand next to Samson again? Who knows?
And trust me, Samson is that he's enormous.
We can see, David, you were just gotta wait for people in Europe. Poland is one of the top 4 or 5 countries in Europe with that bodybuilding, crazy passion. Maybe it's even top 3. I don't know. Maybe it's number 1. There's a lot of passion. The culture is very, not David, it's not?
It's like 4th or 5th because, you know, we have to count USA, then we have to...
I said in Europe.
Yeah, in Europe, it's like 1st, I've got to say. Or 2nd.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, because UK has left the, you know, they had Brexit, so...
Okay.
So they are not in union.
It was a seminar in Robert, what's his name? Robert?
No, in Poznan, it was made by Norbert Phoenix. You're just Robert Norbert. It's almost, you know, similar names. Sounds like.
How was he for you live to see Samson? Talk us about the physique.
I have seen him like 3rd time. I have seen him in 2019 when I competed in Milton, and then in 2020, and then in 2023. And I have to say that if Samson makes any improvements to his back and conditioning, I have seen loads of pro bodybuilders, and not many made me shut my mouth.
Oh,
and
yes.
I was like, I really was like, what the is that? Because he was really enormous. And, you know, people are saying that pictures don't show him the justice. They don't. No. Pictures are not 3D. He is 3D. And he was, you know, he's now on the clearance phase, something like this with Milos. He's off the subs. And he was still enormous. And another thing is he hasn't missed a single meal. I went to the back room, and he wasn't eating any protein bars or something like this. He ate 3 solid meals. You know, first was like chicken and rice. Second was...
But isn't it a little bit sad that you have to brag about that? Because every pro who is at the Olympia should not be eating protein bars, bro.
Should not. That's the thing. Should not.
But not, yeah.
Who is going to steal the show, Gregory? Say one name at the Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'll go Samson.
David?
I'll go with Nick because, you know, Nick is on the full mode. He's hungry. He showed that he's, you know, he's improved. And Samson, of course, is still, you know, on the off season, and he doesn't even take it seriously yet.
Roy, for you, let's say you get a guest posting at Pittsburgh, let's say in 2 years' time, that means you have arrived. Would you prep for it? Or would you be like Brandon Curry? He's coming in, he's not on supplements. Sean Roden did the same. And then you get some type of backlash. Or do you go all in, a la Nick Walker, and just, you know, you don't have any, you know what I mean? Like, what would you do?
Couple of years' time, age 40, I would talk that over with Chad and see what my health is doing. Okay. And if my health is good, we're good. You know, everything is firing on all cylinders. Yeah, give the crowd a show. You know, but if I'm dealing with anything medical that I'm trying to address, I'm gonna go with what my body is telling me to do.
Classic Michael Daboul. Is anyone beating him at this show, Gregory?
If Michael comes in with the condition, we know, bro, and I saw him in person at Olympia, his conditioning is something else. It is, it's been something else. And you know what? He brings a lot of detail, and he has a very classic look. I don't see him losing. I see him winning that show.
David?
Same. He improved even his side chest a lot, because I have seen his ham drop looks a lot better. And it depends, of course, if some freak shows up, then it's not up to him, but he looks really, really good. And it's all about conditioning nowadays. You know, judges look at and pay loads of attention to the conditioning when it comes especially to classic and men's physique, and even to the open. When you judge the open and you look at the open shows, if you're off, you are off the stage.
Yeah, we saw. That's why we're really excited also now with Andrew Jack, that it seems that he found the formula for the condition, and you saw it's a complete different physique, even though it's a little bit smaller, but it's so much more impressive when you see everything popping. Before we go, Gregory and Roy, remember we did the Arnold Classic predictions. We were talking about aesthetics. We weren't sure if it's going to happen. It happened. This Olympia, will guys like Nick Walker, let's say Will Walker, with this aesthetics movement, will he fall down, or will he stay at the same like top 3, top 4, or will he climb if with this new aesthetic movement? And is it really happening, this aesthetic movement, Roy?
I'd defer my answer till after New York Pro we start really seeing what the judges actually do. In terms of Nick Walker at the Olympia, it all depends on who's challenging him. I think, I know a Samson improved at 100% can beat a Nick Walker. I would say that. It really depends on the athlete that's challenging Nick, and Nick's one of the guys at the top. So, Andrew getting up there, that's kind of that depends on like how the rest of the lineup, but I know Samson will be up there. So Samson up there, I think with those improvements and also 100%, I think he could beat Nick.
Gregory, are we gonna have this aesthetics movement for real, or was it was just a what do you call it? What do you call it? What do you call it? Catfish, or what do you call it when it's just like you get something and you
teaser?
Or was it just a little teaser at the Arnold?
You know what? It all depends on how Samson will be. If Samson can make the improvements that he has to make,
where does he have to make it? Back and David, is Hunter Labrada going to come in that condition we want to see him at this Because he has to. Will he do it?
He will. He will. I'm 100% sure that he will, because he has such a hunger right now that he is really focused on making the necessary improvements, and the only improvements he has to make is his waistline and his conditioning. That's the truth. He has lost his placings because of those 2 factors. And about Nick, do not count Nick out. Do not count Nick out, because the way this guy works, he is so humble. And I mean, when judges tell him to do something, he doesn't sit and wait for it to happen. He searches for the solution. He now started working with Jared Feta. He is trying to improve. And if he brings his quads, he's going to be a freak. The 2 of them, as Gregory said, Samson as the aesthetic guy and Nick as the freak guy, are going to be the odd man out in the top 5. So we are going to see perhaps judges choosing one of them as the leading way of future.
Yeah, you're right, David. Absolutely, yeah.
Roy, we are excited for your shows. I've been looking forward to see it, because we saw before we go, we saw you have so much potential there. and now we can see you're putting everything into it. I advise people to follow your YouTube channel because you can get real training tips. And I advise all young people and older people to go follow your YouTube channel, but be careful for your Instagram stories because you might upset some girls. You have some crazy Instagram stories.
I'm a decent guy.
Was this something you said when you called out black girls? Why are they dating only white guys?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. All I said was I've observed just a certain segment, in a particular division where it seems like they're only dating one.
What division was this? What division?
Huh?
What division?
No,
and guys, now the time is running out. We'll follow his Instagram. You're gonna get some controversy. And now we're gonna head over to Michael Daboul because he's gonna hear and talk to me about Pittsburgh. And guys, we are out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And guys, we have a special caller or an interview object into the show. Michael Daboul. We are 3 days out, 4 days, 3 days out. How are you feeling towards Pittsburgh Pro? And let me tell you one thing. The Instagram and the social media are buzzing about you. Like, I think this is the most, like, you're going into the show as the favorite to win. And how does that feel?
It feels great, man. I feel very confident this time. Like at the beginning of the prep, I wasn't so confident because my muscularity was gone. I didn't take an off season, so it hurts me at the beginning. So we didn't start seeing results until probably like 6 weeks out. So I was very nervous that I wasn't going to be ready.
Okay.
So I told the coach, like, what do you think if we postpone the
Oh, really?
show? Yeah. And he said, no, we will not postpone it and you will be ready, I guarantee you. So I trusted the coach. I followed the plan. And like, here I am.
Correct?
Yeah. Usually I'm ready all the time, 2-3 weeks out. And that made me like that always make me like feel confident and feel like not stressed. But this time we didn't see like I'm ready until really I'm 1 week out. So when I watched 1 week out, I was like, I'm ready. That's it. I'm done. But usually I'm ready at 2-3 weeks out. So this time it's probably better. So I will keep my focus going into the show.
From the last Olympia to now, you're 1 week out. What improvements are you seeing now?
I improved a lot my chest and my lats. I trained my legs less, my arms less to balance my physique, because I have a weight limit. So I need to make a balance. My legs used to be very strong to my upper body. So we reduced the training volume on my legs and I start focusing on my chest and my back. I improved a lot my chest. I improved my lats and that will make my waistline look smaller. So my V-taper will look better going into this show.
Is this the first time you ever trained less of something?
Yes, this is the first time. I almost trained arms once every 2 weeks and like legs every 10 days once only.
And you trained for how many years?
I've been training for 12 years and this is the first time.
12 years, this is the first time. Was it scary at the beginning or?
Yeah, I was like, what if I lost my leg size? I don't want to lose too much. But actually I kept all the size in my legs. I just improved my density in my legs. And the size in my chest is very, very huge. Like I improved my chest a lot, which was a big issue for me. At the Olympia, like all the judges told me I have very flat chest and I need a wider lats, and that's what we worked on. And it improved. You will see it in the show. You will see a much bigger lats and much better like chest.
Now we're going into the show, and what are you because now you won the Arnold Classic UK twice. You were at the original Arnold Classic, making straight into that first call out. You were at the Olympia. You made top 10.
Yep.
But now, Michael, this is the time to step into like this is your first UK show, American show ever, other than the Arnold, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
What are you feeling now?
I feel like strange feeling. At the same time, I'm very confident, man. I have never been this confident in my life. Like, I know I'm bringing my best ever. Like, I made weight today. I was only 1 pound over weight limit. So on this point, we are ready. Like, we just need to drop 1 pound, which is very easy, you know. So we almost there. We just now cruising into the show. We don't need to change nothing. Like, the diet plan still the same. Even I will have more food tomorrow when I'm flying. Coach gave me 1 or 2 more meals. Like, just because my day will be longer. Like, USA is 7 hours behind, so my day will increase 7 hours. So on this 7 hours, I will have 2 extra meals. Yeah, but I feel very confident. I know I will win Pittsburgh. I know I will win New York. I'm very confident about it. I will bring back like 2 titles. And this year, I'm very confident I will make it first call out at the Olympia as well.
Before you go, Michael, I've known you for a couple of years, and I've seen the progress you made, but the amount of respect you are getting now compared to when you started. Michael, talk to us a little bit about these last 2 years. How much sacrifices have you put into it, and has it been worth it?
Yeah, man, I put a lot of sacrifices, you know, like at the beginning when I started competing as an amateur, I took second 7 times in a row, like taken away from the pro card, like 7 times, every time second place, second place, second place. I was like, fucking hell, I'm not good enough maybe for this bodybuilding and this classic physique. So I kept trying until I won my pro card on my 8th try. And then like from there, just I did my pro debut. I placed 3rd, which was wow, I belong here. And then the second show after that, I did like Italy, which is I took 2nd then. And then the Arnold UK, I won it. And then Arnold USA, I like first call out. And then like Arnold UK again won it. Dubai won it. And now going to those 2 shows, I'm the favorite to win. It make me like feel really unreal how this happened, how difficult it was at the beginning, and how it raised up very quick. But I put a lot of hard work on it. Like I'm known as one of the most conditioned guy, which is separate me from the others. And this is like, you know, I need to play with my strength. So my strength is condition, separation in legs, and like I don't have the smallest waist in the classic physique, so I need to play with something else. Like what I can do to improve from my shape. So that's what I improve a lot on, my shape as a Michael, not as everyone else. I can't compare myself to Chris Bumstead, who have crazy structure. If he will be 90% and I will be 100%, he will still beat me because he is like genetically gifted with unbelievable structure. So I play with my strength. I know where's my strength are. I know where's my weakness, and I work on my strength and I make it very, very visible. Like the condition is unmatched to very few can achieve that level of conditioning. I put a lot of work, a lot of sacrifices. Like when you spend 6 weeks in a row on low carbs, under 150 grams of carbs, without cheating, without even a refeed, only on this 6 weeks, I had only 2 refeeds. It was really tough, man. A lot of cardio, a lot of hard work. And you're not sleeping enough because you're tired, you're hungry 24/7. But you have a goal, you want to achieve something and you work on it. You push really hard, and that's what kept me moving and kept me going forward, that I want to achieve my goal. I want to do the best of me. And now, like, I'm going for those 2 shows. Hopefully, I will win both of them. So I will have 5 pro wins in classic physique, which is like very few achieved that, you know.
Good luck. And has there ever been a person from Syria winning a pro show in America? Has that ever happened before?
There is never anyone in Syria have won a pro show ever in the history. So I'm the first one to achieve it, and I'm the first one to be in the Olympia stage. and that what made me like in idol in their like in the Middle East or in Syria especially. People like love Michael because he achieved something no one did before from that country, which is I'm very proud of, to be able to do it, achieve this goal for people who really love bodybuilding. You know, like in Arab countries, they love bodybuilding crazily, and this is something I'm really happy with. The support I get from my country people, like it's unbelievable, which is really pushed me really hard to get the best of me.
Good luck. We're gonna watch the stream, and before we go, say something to in your native language and end it with a front double.
بحبكم كلكم، دعونا بالتوفيق بالبطولة. Thank you man, thank you for having me.